Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Ryal Thomas. The title of the show is The Danger of Your Eyes. And I don't want to make it seem like that having your eyes is a dangerous thing. I'm going to be coming from a different angle. We know that having your eyes, we are seeing a lot of beautiful things, a lot of beautiful people. We're looking at the clouds, we're looking at the sky, we're looking at the rainbow, we're just looking at different beautiful things that our eyes allow us to see. But like I said, I'm going to be coming from a different angle to make, hopefully, you guys see and understand what I'm trying to say. Because sometimes your eyes can be the introduction to a lot of your desires, a lot of your wants, and maybe not so much your needs, but your eyes will introduce you to things that maybe you desire, maybe what lies in your heart, maybe what you expect out of someone, but sometimes that can be deceiving. And I'm going to give you a few examples. Like, let's take for granted that we're walking through the SPCA and we see a cute little dog. And you have to have this dog because you've always maybe wanted a dog of such, and this dog is making certain sounds and getting you emotionally involved. So you see this with your eyes. So you wind up taking this dog home, and it creates a whole different problem. The dog is not house trained. You have to get up all through the night taking care of the dog. You never even thought about the responsibility of having a dog. It's just that your eyes have introduced you to something that you desire without looking at the whole picture. So this is what I mean when I say the danger of your eyes being the introduction to maybe some of your compassions, maybe some of the things that you have desired in life. And I'm going to take this to a different level. Let's look at a relationship. Let's look at this. You may have the idea picture in your mind as far as what you want your partner to look like, far as what you want your partner to be. So now you see this individual, male or female, that fits the description in your desires as far as what this partner should look like. Not thinking about the responsibility, not thinking about what he or she can offer to the relationship, what he or she brings to the table. You're only looking at the fact that this person has the physical attributes that you have been desiring for a long period of time. So that throws everything out the window. And let's say you get involved with this individual, male or female. Now you're at a point where you've been dating for a while and this person hasn't really brought anything to the table. And you're wondering why your finances are going down. You're wondering why your emotional level is going down. You're wondering about a lot of things. You never took time to really feel and actually see what the person is all about. So this is what I mean when I say the danger of your eyes, that it can introduce you to things that you only desire without even looking into what lies after the looks. What other attributes does this individual have other than good looks? So these are the things that we need to take into consideration when we're looking at things that we have longed for a period of time, letting our eyes be the introduction to our desires. And I hope you guys out there understand what I'm saying. Sometimes it takes, I don't want to say a lifetime. Sometimes it takes a period of time, maybe even decades, before you understand this. And, that's why, you may talk to your grandparents or you may talk to your parents, and they may say, take your time, sugar. Take your time, sweetheart. You know, don't judge a book by its cover. Everything that glitter isn't gold. You know, that has some sort of meaning. That has some sort of meaning. What your grandparents or your parents are actually telling you is that slow down and don't be so quick to make judgment based on what you see. See, these individuals are speaking from wisdom because they've made the same mistakes that you may have made or that you are making. You know, so listen to elderly people who've had that experience, because as a young person will jump up and get involved in anything that happens to feed them, to feed their spirit, to feed their excitement, you know, and it takes time to slow that excitement down. You know, it really takes time to slow that excitement down. And because your eyes will have you running all over the place and looking at all different type of situations. I'll tell you a little story real quick. This is getting to some real serious things right now, but I'll tell you a little story. A friend of mine, he always wanted this certain vehicle, and he talked about it for years, you know. And I remember in high school he talked about it, and I remember during college years he was always saying, I can't find this vehicle. I can't find this vehicle. So one day he happened to see this vehicle. He went up to the guy and asked him, was it for sale? And the guy said he never considered selling it. But my friend was so excited about the purchase of this vehicle, he had to have it. So he paid maybe twice as much as the vehicle was worth, twice as much. And matter of fact, I was with him, but his excitement took away the advice that I wanted to give him, because he was just moving too fast. He was moving too fast. He didn't even want to test drive the car. He just looked at the car and said, man, Ryal, this is it. This is the car that I want. He purchased the vehicle. I had my vehicle, and I was to follow him home. He was all excited. Maybe about 20 minutes down the road, the car started to overheat. He pulled over. I had to go get some water and put it in the radiator, and the car wouldn't crank. And he looked at me and he said, Ryal, what's wrong? And I said, what's wrong is you jumped the gun too quick. You should have taken that car to a mechanic, let the mechanic look at it. You should have driven the car. You should have done everything that was needed to do to assure you that you have made a proper purchase. But because of your desire to have this particular car, you overlooked all of that. He wound up selling the car for scrap. About a year later, he always had problems with this car. And this is what I'm saying. We cannot allow our eyes to dictate to us what's good and what's bad. And I'm not saying that everything is bad when you're looking at some things. You know, sometimes people do hit the lottery. So what I'm saying is that we just have to give it second thought. We just have to look at this from a different perspective when you're in the process of having someone work in your home. You know, they may be talking to you or saying this, you know, and for the most people are basically pretty honest. People basically have a good heart. But sometimes you need to look at things. Check up on the individual if possible. Just feel good about what you are doing. And when you can bring your feelings, well, I should say a good feeling, and your emotions and things of such that builds up what you feel, then you can somewhat believe that your eyes are bringing about something good. But you have to combine all these things together. You have to combine all these things together. You just cannot look at something and take it for face value. You cannot do that. As a child, we used to play on the train tracks, and it was a guy, a friend of ours, that he was just crazy about gold. He always talked about finding gold. So I don't know if you guys out there know, trains kind of like, when they go down the track, sometimes they leave these little, look like rocks, and they're round. I don't know what they're actually called, but we came up with the idea that we were going to spray paint them gold. So we spray painted them gold, and we told this certain individual that we finally found gold. We finally found gold. His desire was so strong about finding this gold, he ran up to us, snatched the bag out of our hand, and just took off running like he finally found it. It was just rocks spray painted. Just rock spray, because his desire was so huge that he had to have it. And just seeing something gold made him act accordingly. This is a serious situation when you actually look at this and realize the mistakes that you have made, that I have made, that we all have made, looking at something for face value and not going in depth to what is actually happening here, to what exactly is happening here. So, and it's very serious when you put that on a relationship. It's very serious when you do that, you know, because sometimes you can get caught up. You can get caught up, and you can spend months, in some cases years, waiting for that individual to be what you think they were. You could be waiting for years and losing the value of your life depending on their life. You can't do that. And this is the message that I'm trying to get across this evening, is don't jump in the water before you realize how deep it is. You can't do that, and especially when you're spending time with someone. When you're spending time with someone and you're giving them your all and you're loving them, and they keep making promises about they're going to change or they're going to do this, months go by, years go by, and you haven't moved in any direction in which you want to move in, because you have dreams too. You have dreams. You have the desires. You have emotional commitment to this individual who may not have emotional commitment to you. And these are because we didn't look in depth about things. We just looked at what we thought we wanted. You just hung a picture on the wall thinking it was beautiful until someone came in and said, "Ooh, that's a gross looking picture." And they make you look at the details, the abstract painting. You may not see what's in that painting. Someone else may have to come in and tell you, "How long are you going to deal with this?" What do you mean? You know what I mean. Now you have become brainwashed by your own thoughts, by your own desires. You brought something into your life based on physical attributes, never looking at where this is going. So now you've built up this image where everything appears to be perfect in public. And at home, you're catching hell. So the point, again, and I can't say this enough, the danger of your eyes. And it's a beautiful thing to see beautiful pictures. It's a beautiful thing to feel beautiful emotions. So you don't need to throw them out the window when you've been longing for this particular individual or this particular material thing or this particular anything that you have desired without really getting involved, getting the details that you need to know. And the reason you may be thinking why I kind of like stay on the or go back and forth to the relationship thing is because, you know, there are a lot of people that have been hurt. You know, and I'm going to say this, especially women. You know, they've gone through so much with trying to bring about someone in their life that they believe in, that they trust, and things of such. And it's been nothing but a breakdown. Nothing but a breakdown. You know, you break down that person's heart. And when you do that, you know, she may have gotten involved with you. You may be the guy that she works with, and she is telling her friends, Lord, I would love for him to take me out. Lord, I would love for him to. You're not even asking questions about, is he married? You're not even asking questions, does he have a friend? You're just going on a desire, going on an emptiness that you feel inside based on what you're looking at and not realizing what you really need to see. And I jump on this because I've had situations, you know, where women, you know, come up to me and just talk to me, you know, about certain things. And sometimes I just don't know what to say because you can't, you know, just chalk it up, you know, as this is a great loss. Because sometimes they're really good people. You know, they just need a little bit of time to get themselves together. And that goes for male and female. You know, sometimes they just need a little bit more time to see what the person can actually do. So don't think I'm sitting up here trying to bash guys, or because I'm a guy, you know, bash guys or bash women or saying you're not making, you know, real good decisions. I'm just merely saying that, you know, when you're playing with someone, you know, emotions, and based on what you see at the present moment, based on the physical attributes that these individuals may have, you just overlook everything else. And to be quite honest, I may get in trouble for saying this, but to be quite honest, a man knows when actually a woman is weak and lonely. He knows. And if he's not doing too much, he's coming in full force. And especially if you have something to bring to the table. You know, he's coming in full force and not saying that, you know, he can't be changed, or he cannot change, I should say, but for a reason other than saying what I need to say. People change on their time. People change on their time. You can preach, you can send them to every type of meeting, you can talk to them, you can do this, but if change is not in an individual's heart at that particular time, you know, it's a difficult road to travel. You know, people make these, what is it called, these New Year resolutions, that they're going to do this year, they're going to do this year. Change comes when change is needed. And that can be in the summer, in the spring, in the middle of the night. It can be any time. So again, I keep saying to you guys, everyone out there, take a look around presently and just look at some things that your eyes have introduced you to that's not really working in your favor right now. Just take a look around. You know, just look around the house and, you know, just look around and see, you know, well, what have I looked at and brought into my house that I really don't need? You know, did you go out and buy this table that now you're sick of it in 2 or 3 weeks, but the table costs you $400 or $500? And if you can look at some of these material things that your eyes have introduced you to based on your desire, if you look at these things, see, some things need to be replaced. They need to be replaced. And talk to someone and get other opinions about, not necessarily a person. I'm not into, listening to a whole lot of gossip about this person or that person. But the fact of the matter is, take personal inventory of what you're doing and what you're bringing in your life. Because it's your life. It's your life. It's not what people think. It's not what the public think. It's not what your parents think. It's what you think. But the secret to this is you have to be real with yourself. You have to be real. You cannot make excuses for some of the faults you may find within yourself. You can't make excuses, because that means change will never come, because you justify everything that you do, everything that you say. And it sounds good because it's a justification. It even feels good because now you don't have to blame yourself. You don't have to look at the mistakes that you have made. But we all have made mistakes. We all have made mistakes, man. It's just owning up to them. Owning up to them. It's people out there now that are in their 50s, 60s, 70s who are saying, if I only knew then what I know now, I wouldn't be in this predicament. Fighting to pay my mortgage. I met him 20 years ago. I met him 10 years ago, and he promised me this and promised me that. Nothing has happened. I've spent all my money. I've spent all my time because I believed in what he was saying at the present time. But you do not allow the present time to become the future. You do not allow that. And you cannot allow past conversations to be the present conversation and be the future conversation. You cannot do this because the clock on the wall doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. And like I said, I'm not saying this so much in a relationship situation. I'm saying this in the fact of anything that you bring into your life. It can be a dog, it can be a cat, it can be anything. You just need to think it through. Just because your eyes are looking at it and telling you, dealing with the emotions and the desires that you have for this particular thing or this particular person, wait it out. Like my grandmother used to say, take your time, son. Just take your time. Man, that's a powerful statement from a grandparent. That's a very powerful statement when they say, take your time, because they're talking about the mistakes they have made. And they can only pass their knowledge and wisdom on to you because they cannot go back and relive their life and do things over. Talking to a lady a while back, she just purchased a home. She said the view is what got her. She said the view was so beautiful. She bought the home for X amount of dollars. Now she has she has put in thousands and thousands of dollars. She never even looked into the wear and tear of the house. She never looked at any of the mechanics, any of the plumbing, any of the roofing. She never looked at anything. All she looked at was the view, because that's what she have desired all her life, to look at a mountain view with trees of such, and all those views are beautiful, but you can't live in the view. You have to live in the house. But that's because her eyes introduced her to something that she has been desiring all her life. So this is what I mean when I say the danger of your eyes. That's exactly what I mean. So, like I said before, your eyes see some beautiful things, but your eyes also see your and feel your desires. When your desire overrides the knowledge and the wisdom that you should have in bringing something into your life. I want to thank you guys for tuning in to the Ryal Thomas Show. I'm so glad to be back, and we will have another show coming up pretty soon with new topics. Thank you very much.